but did not return to Danjuma immediately. Danjuma then climbed up with a grenade in his hands. He met Ironsi with Fajuyi, discussing together, and Danjuma immediately told Ironsi that he was under arrest and gave him the order to stand up immediately. Reluctantly, Ironsi, a most senior officer to Danjuma and the military head of state at the time, stood up as was commanded by this military major, T.Y. Danjuma. At this time, the soldiers that came with Danjuma were on hand to obey whatever was required of them by Danjuma. They were poised for a showdown. Ironsi was led downstairs and forced into a waiting vehicle. Fajuyi also entered the vehicle, and both of them were driven out to an unknown destination. That was the last time these two men were seen alive together. They were driven to a place called Lalukbon on the outskirts of Ibadan, where they were shot, killed, and buried in a shallow grave by their captors. It is reported that before they were eventually shot, the soldiers commanded Ironsi out of the vehicle into the bush for elimination. It is also reported Fajuyi ran between the soldiers and spread his hands begging them not to kill Ironsi. Fajuyi literally prevented them from shooting Ironsi for several minutes and kept begging them not to kill him. He repeated the intervention so much that the killers became frustrated and angrily fired shots into Fajuyi and Ironsi at the same time. Fajuyi is thus said to have died in defense of a friend and a compatriot. This event ended forever the lives, career, and times of the two of the earliest foreign-trained and highly experienced Nigerian military officers, General Johnson Aguiyi Ironsi and Colonel Adekunle Fajuyi. At the time of the coup, T.Y. Danjuma was only 26 years old. The smooth execution of the coup and the coordination between the officers in Ibadan and Lagos showed clearly that the coup had already been planned and was only waiting for an opportunity to strike. Ibadan only presented a perfect opportunity to strike and execute the coup. The officers that were eventually identified as the brains behind the coup from the Lagos flank were Lieutenant Colonel Murtala Mohammed, Lieutenant Ibrahim Babangida, Martin Adamu, Joseph Gaba, Nuhu Nathan, Malami Nasarawa, Paul Tafa, Musa Usman, Second Lieutenant Sani Abacha, and Shitu Alau, and many others. Those from the Ibadan flank were Gaba Dada, Jeremiah Oseni, and Lieutenant Ibrahim Bako. These officers from Ibadan flank were assisted by T.Y. Danjuma and William Welby. Danjuma and Welby were originally part of the Lagos group, but being part of General Ironsi's guard, they participated by default as they accompanied Ironsi on his official tour of the western region of the country. The Lagos group used the Ikeja barracks as their operational base, while the Ibadan group used the 4th Battalion as their operational base. It is reported that the trouble which ignited the coup started in the army barracks in Abeokuta, where some junior officers of the northern extraction opened fire and killed several officers of Igbo extraction who were seen having a meeting at the barracks on the night of Ironsi's arrival in Ibadan. Danjuma then seized the opportunity of the confusion of the moment to carry out the coup and remove Ironsi from power. Analysts have however queried the relationship between the killing of soldiers in an army barracks in Abeokuta and the arrest and eventual killing of the head of state in Ibadan. When it was clear that Ironsi had effectively been taken out of the way, the next phase in the coup was to choose a successor from the remaining senior military officers in the country. Lieutenant Colonel Yakubu Gowon, a Christian from the Plateau region of Nigeria and the Chief of Staff to General Ironsi, was chosen as the new head of state. It is said that his choice as the new head of state annoyed some of the coup plotters, such as Murtala Muhammad, who was keenly interested in the said office. This anger would later play out years after, as Murtala Muhammad would also seize power from Gowon, but in a bloodless coup. The other officers that participated one way or the other in the coup were rewarded with key military appointments by the Gowon administration. You are watching the story of the second military coup in Nigeria. Adekunle Fajuyi was born on 26 June 1926. He was from Ado-Ekiti in present-day Ekiti State. Originally a teacher and a clerk, Fajuyi joined the Nigerian Army in 1943. He was trained at the Eton Hall Officer Candidate School in the United Kingdom. He served in the Congo, and on return from Congo, he became the first indigenous military commander of the 1st Battalion in Enugu. When Major General Aguiyi Ironsi became the head of state, Ironsi appointed military governors for the regions, and Fajuyi was appointed as governor of the western region of the country. Fajuyi is remembered by many as a gallant soldier who served his country with commitment, loyalty, and dedication. The 2nd Division of the Nigerian Army, Ibadan, is officially known as Adekunle Fajuyi Cantonment, named in honor of Colonel Adekunle Fajuyi. On the other hand, Aguiyi Ironsi was born on the 3rd day of March 1924. He had his primary and secondary education in Umuahia, Calabar, and Kano respectively, and at the age of 18 he enrolled in the then Nigerian regiment as a private. He later proceeded to the Staff College, Camberley, England. He served as commandant of the 5th Battalion Kano, served at the Congo under the United Nations, and later served as military attaché to the Nigerian High Commission in London. Ironsi rose through the ranks and became a major general in the Nigerian Army in 1965, and in the same year he became the general officer commanding the Nigerian Army. Ironsi's body was later exhumed from the shallow grave and properly buried with full military honors and in accordance with the funeral rites of the Catholic Church, where Ironsi was a devout worshipper. He was 42 years old when he became the military head of state of Nigeria, and was also 42 years old at the time of his assassination. Ironsi was only in power for 6 months. The story of